lovely people, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Shauna. I am a recovering addict. My sobriety date is September 27th, 2016. I wanted to start off with a reading from a devotional book called Answers from the Heart. And for February 8th, it says, "It's been said that God exists only in the present. That means we must live in the present if we are to find God. In God's eyes, we are worthy and lovable as we are today. God never rejects part of creation. God doesn't expect us to be perfect, just willing to do our best. My higher power loves me because I'm human, not despite it," which is perfect because today I want to talk about step 2, which is came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. So if you want to see how I did this, as well as talk about step 2, just keep on watching. Alright guys, so as mentioned in the intro, we are going to be discussing step 2, and I'm also going to be getting ready, and I'm going to be trying out this new palette I got from Blush Tribe called the Hasina 2. I'm going to put down my Urban Decay base. So step 2 is came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. And what that means is we're believing in some sort of higher power. It can be God, it can be, whatever you want your higher power to be, which I will get into a little bit later. I was reading through some of my literature that I have before starting this video, and I wanted to share some quotes. In the Green Book, it says, for step 2, that sanity is possible. When we are living in addiction, we are not actually sane. We are living in insanity, which, as we discussed in the previous video, makes sense because our lives have become unmanageable or chaotic. Step 2 is also about rediscovering a spiritual nature which was always in us, but we had lost along the way. I'm speaking for more than myself here, but many addicts feel that God is no longer with them, or we lose this idea of God. I know for me that was 100% accurate. I would say in most cases, at least with the groups that I attend, that most people lost their way with God, whether due to, they don't want to be a part of their parents' religion, or, God didn't answer something they felt was important to them. So step 2 really helps us find that higher power that we lost along the way and that we can get back. It also says in that book, step 2 allows us to accept the possibility of a power that can restore us to sanity, which is exactly what, the title of step 2 is, came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. And it took a long time for me to work step 2, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So in the beginning, I didn't understand what that meant, but I do now. It's like I rely on my higher power so much to get me through things when I'm feeling triggered, to act out again. And the other thing that it talks about a lot in the Green Book is that we don't have to accept step 2 right away, or that we don't have to swallow it all in one huge gulp. It may take some time. Some people have a lot of trauma behind religion, especially if they were raised in a fire and brimstone type of religion, and so they've now rejected God or any sort of higher power. So in the beginning, I had a really hard time with step 2. It's like, what do you mean? God hasn't saved me any of these times. Why would he start now? I didn't understand how that could be a thing. I felt so forsaken in the beginning. Like, no, he left me. He didn't take this away. He didn't take away these cravings. He didn't, You know, he wasn't there when I was at my lowest point. So yeah, what I had to do in the very beginning of attending my 12-step groups was actually use my group as my higher power. You know, I did not want to fail in front of this group of people. You know, when you first enter, you take what's called a white chip. When you take a white chip, you're devoting yourself to the 12-step program. So I took my white chip September 27th, 2016. I did not want to go back to this group and have to white chip again. In fact, I utterly refused. I wasn't doing that. So to get me through, I had to have a higher power. But when you don't believe in God, or you have a hard time accepting God exists because you felt forgotten for so long, what's nice about 12-step is they do offer you the choice. And in the book called 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, or what in Alcoholics Anonymous they call the 12 and 12, it even talks about how you can use the group as your higher power in the beginning. So if you're struggling with accepting God, you know, go ahead and use your group as your higher power. That's definitely what I did in the beginning. It really helped because I honestly wouldn't have been able to make it through without having something. Because one of the techniques I would use, and one of the tools of the program that they give you when you're first starting out, is to give it away to God if you're feeling exceptionally triggered to go do something you know you're not supposed to be doing. So that is what I did, and it also kind of held me accountable so that I didn't go back to my group and take that white chip again. When my therapist was trying to talk me into going to 12-step, my biggest reason for not going was it was a God program, and I wanted nothing to do with that. I didn't believe in God. I didn't like God. I was angry with him. I didn't understand why, if I'm not supposed to be doing this, why he wouldn't take it away so that I wouldn't do what I was doing. I understand now that's not how that works, but you know, I was angry, I was confused. And it took a long time for me to get comfortable with having an actual God figure and not my group. Like I said, I entered sobriety, or life of sobriety, September 27th, 2016, and it took me until April 2018 to accept God. You know, besides being angry, another issue I struggled with is I have a very scientific background, and so the God thing didn't make sense to me. We know there's planets, we know there's this, so we can understand the neurological pathways of addiction. So how does God play into it? And the other thing that I really struggled with was, you know, hypocrisy of religious leaders. And it took me a long time to realize that just because someone is a religious leader, that doesn't make them synonymous with God. And it took me a long time to realize that those people didn't speak for God, and those people weren't God. And to separate those two was very hard. Plus, in the religion I was raised in, there wasn't a lot of room for women to be in a position of power. And I had an issue with that because, I mean, some of Jesus's, if we want to go with the Christian route, some of Jesus's most important people were women. You know, we had Mary Magdalene, we had his mother. So to then have no positions of power available for women did not jibe well with me, and I had a really hard time with that. So that also took me until April of 2018 to understand how someone could be both, you know, a feminist and believe in God. Okay guys, so I'm going to pop off camera real fast and put on my liner. I'm going to be using the Benefit Roller Liner, and I will be right back. Alright, welcome back guys. So the other biggest reason I steered away from God for so long, and it took me so long to understand step 2, was that God didn't answer the prayers I thought he should. And the 12 and 12 said it perfectly. They said, my prayers consisted of, grant me my wishes instead of thy will be done. Which, that is spot on, 100%. I still fall into that pattern sometimes of, just, for example, you guys could probably see the immense bags under my eyes. And that is due to, I have been bawling my eyes out for the last week because we have to get rid of our cat, and he actually left today. The cat had bonded with me the most out of anyone in the house, like to the point where the cat actually took a bath with me. The cat got in the tub and would take baths with me, and would, as soon as he heard my alarm, come upstairs and meow at my door until I let him in, which made it really annoying if I wanted to sleep in because I never got to. So we got rid of him today, and he's going to a nice family. We didn't just send him to the Humane Society or anything. Not that there's anything wrong with that, just they're not a no-kill, so I have sort of an issue with them. But anyway, besides the point, he is going to a nice family. We went through an adoption agency, and we vetted them, and the agency vetted them as well. We got to meet them. Really, really nice people. The cat's going to have a friend, which he didn't have here. But anyway, I've been bawling my eyes out for a week, and my prayers were including, please figure out a way to let me keep my cat. And so I still fall into that of trying to ask for things that I shouldn't instead of just thy will be done. And I probably will the rest of my life because it's easily forgotten when you haven't lived it for, 33 years. The bags are really bad when tart-shaped tape isn't even covering them. Ooh. The reason I had such an acceptance of God in April was I had gone to a retreat, and the whole time I was just angry. I'm like, God, I paid to be here, but I really don't want to be here, and I was scoffing at everything they said, and which, not normally me, especially since entering recovery. I felt very much like I did when I hadn't been in recovery. And like, this is not right. Like, I'm not like this. What is going on? And I could feel like something holding me back from accepting what these speakers and people were saying. And then the last night we were there, a woman was speaking, and she asked us all to write down a question. And my question was, how do I know you exist? Meaning God. And her whole presentation was about how, the brain works. And so we had science. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, she's being scientific, but I also know she's very religious. Like, how does she do that? And then at the end of it, she sort of talked about, like, the Me Too movement a little bit, or like how, we should be treating women better. I don't remember what exactly it was, but, then I had my feminism thing answered. Like, how can you be a feminist and believe in God? Because, the only example I have was that women don't have any power in religion because of the religion I was in. So to have a woman talking about science and God and bring in a feminist aspect was, I mean, when your question on your note card is, how do I know you exist? And then this woman is talking about all the things that make you question that existence to disprove your beliefs, that was the moment I knew. That was just absolutely incredible for me, and that right there, I'm like, yep, we're all in. I'm gonna pop off camera and do my brows real fast, and then we'll come back and finish up the face and finish up the eye look, and then we will be all done. Alright guys, I'm back. As usual, we have sisters and not twins, but we'll deal. the reason step 2 is so important, you're gonna need your higher power in step 4 especially, and then again in step 9. And if you don't have that good relationship, then there's really no point in moving forward. I hate to say that, but it's true, because step 4 is really triggering for a lot of people. So for highlight, I'm going to use the Platinum Ice Pro palette, and I'm going to use the shade Lavender Snow because it's purple and we're having a purple day. So when you get to step 4, if you do it the AA way, which is a little more in depth than the way that I had to do it, you will want that higher power to rely on, and definitely a sponsor. But that's why step 2 is so important. You know, understand that God can help you, or your version of God, whatever you want that higher power of yours to be, and then you'll have a lot less difficulty with step 4. So I'm going to take that same highlight shade and put it on the inner corner and as a brow bone highlight. Again, guys, if you ever have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I also have an email for this purpose. If you feel more comfortable emailing as opposed to leaving a comment, which I totally understand. You know, if you're ever struggling, let me know and we can go from there. But you know, what did you guys do for step 2, or how did your sponsor work it with you? This new mascara, you guys, by ColourPop, they just released them. There's like 6, 7, or 8 different colors. This is the blue one. I used to have a blue mascara when I first went to university, and when I saw that they were coming out with all these mascaras and this cobalt blue was one of them, I said, frick yes. I love the way cobalt blue mascara looks against my eyes. And I think because we didn't use any blue from the palette, it'll look really pretty with this. So excited. The black one I have, because I also got black, very good. Very on point with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, but instead of $24, it's $8. If you guys like good quality cosmetics but don't want to spend a lot of money, ColourPop. Their highlighter, their Super Shock highlighters, amazing. Super Shock shadows, amazing. And they're always running deals, so you can get a palette of like 9 eyeshadows for 12 bucks. I'm obsessed with ColourPop right now. In step 2, we're supposed to be practicing humility and vulnerability, which I think for people in general, but most definitely addicts, humility and vulnerability don't come hand in hand. I still struggle with being vulnerable. I can be a little bit more vulnerable here because I can't feel the judgment from across the screen. Alright guys, here is the finished look. For lips today, I used Jeffree Star's Self Control and a Katy Perry X CoverGirl Catty Cat lip gloss in the shade Pounce. They match really well together. It's really cute. I love it. Let's do a little close-up. So again, guys, step 2 is all about, you know, just believing that there's a higher power that can restore us to sanity. You have to be humble, you have to be vulnerable, and believe that a higher power is there to take care of you. Came to believe in a power greater than ourselves. So if you like this look, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you could also please subscribe and like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the bell. You'll always be notified of when I upload a new video. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Recovered Feminist. The spellings are different between the two, so I will also list those down below. I can also list products that I used, as well as my email address. You guys can submit questions anonymously. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.